Let's get started. Again, my name is Kirsten Broderick. I'm the founder of North Scale. We're a performance coaching firm. We work with executives and teams to help them be more focused and mentally resilient. So the great encouragement before we actually start practicing today is you don't still your mind. You don't. We started here last week, and I think I might start here every week because I can't hear this enough, and I've been doing this for 22 years. So I think the same for you. You don't still your mind. You don't focus your mind. You don't calm your mind down. You still the physical body. Meditation is a physical practice. With practice of sitting still and being physically quiet, your mind might not be quiet, but you're literally shutting your mouth. With practice over time, the mind will still itself. You know, my favorite quote is from Lao Tzu: "Do you have the patience to wait until your mud settles and your water is clear?" I love that image of the puddle after the storm full of mud. And the more you try to force that mud down and make it clear, the more you stir it up. If you let the puddle be still, it might take a long time, especially if it was a big storm. Over time, the silt will fall on its own and the water will be clear enough that you can see the moon perfectly. The same with your mind. It's just a physical practice. You sit still, and over time, you're building mental resilience. And this comes down to self-awareness, right? What we're building, right? As you sit still, you're building self-awareness. You're getting to know your own mind. Where does it go when there's nowhere to go, when you're just being still? What are the stories that it goes to? What are the tapes that it plays over and over again, right? Get to know them, right? See them, look at them. Don't try to get rid of them. And as soon as you see them, just don't be carried away by them. Um, there's an old Zen saying that says, leave your back door and your front door open. Let the thoughts come and go. Just don't invite them in for a cup of tea. Don't sit them down and chat them up, right? Oh, they're there. Come back to the breath. Come back to this reality. Be aware of your body. Be aware of your thoughts. Be aware of your feelings. And then breathe. Breathe. You're not making anything go away. You're just staying still and keep coming back to the only physical thing that you're doing when you're sitting still, which is the breath. Meditation is just the practice of paying attention. That's how it builds your focus and your resilience, because you stay in reality. And what are you paying attention to when you meditate? You're paying attention to yourself right now. Not some idea of yourself, not some perfect calm vision. The messy, disturbed, happy, whatever it is self that's you right now, pay attention to it. This right now, whether your mind thinks it or not, literally has everything that you need, because ultimately it's the only moment you're alive. Meditation is a focus on the breath. I'm almost ready to start posting some of the older videos where we go more into the technicalities of the focus on the breath and how this actually works, and some of the research and the study that actually helps to illuminate how powerful it is for your executive functioning, for literally having a more coherent mind to just focus on the breath. But for today, we just know all you have to do is, when you sit still and do nothing, the only thing that you're paying attention to is the one thing that's still moving in you, and that's your breath, right? To do that, you need the right form. We've gone over the form. It's all about having an upright posture. We do keep our eyes open. We don't close our eyes to reality. We look right at it. If you can stay with the boring floor for 5 or 10 minutes, you can stay with anything in your life, including fear, uncertainty, and problems, and then you can see through it and move with it. And the big thing here is the still abdominal breathing. You're not breathing from your chest or your ribs or your eyes or your nose. You're breathing from your lower belly. Might not be comfortable yet. Practice it. It'll become natural over time. Now, we're not going to sit on a mat. This doesn't even matter. The main thing is, you see, he has a little cushion here, which makes his hips higher than his knees, which then forces an arch, and the forced arch raises the sternum. We don't need a cushion or anything fancy. That doesn't matter. You can do it as long as you have something underneath your bum. Otherwise, your knees go higher, and then you're not doing it right. Or you can just do it on a chair. He's a big guy, but he's sitting on the edge of the chair, so his hips are higher than his knees. So let's do it. Okay, so we're going to sit for 5 minutes in quiet, focused attention on the lower belly breath. And we're going to do this. Okay. We're going to sit for 5 minutes right now. I may or may not speak at some point during the 5 minutes, just as a reminder or a helpful hint. But this is your time and your practice, your work right now, is to just let yourself be still and present to this reality. I'm setting my timer. Come into your best posture. Sit it on the edge of your seat as I am. And then find a spot to focus your eyes or rest your eyes. We're not looking out and taking in more information. This is about self-awareness. All your attention is on your body, but we don't close our eyes. We listen and we look and we use our senses. Take a long, slow, deep inhale, becoming more grounded, focused. And as you exhale, relax. Become a little bit more present and aware. And then turn all the attention to the rise and fall of your belly breath. Your mind's supposed to wander. That's its job. When you notice you're off in a story or a thought, just come back to your breath. It's always here. This is your only moment. Come back to the breath. Hey, it's 5 minutes. Um, any real questions or challenges or anything that came up that I can help with? I don't know if you all also hopefully didn't notice, but we had a visitor right at the beginning, and he's now purring here, which is one of my favorite things that always happens. And anyone that I've sat with, whether they have pets or small children, will say, when you sit and pay attention to yourself, um, you're essentially living in your own integrity at that moment. Um, because if you think of, like, if you say a building has good integrity, it's whole into itself, it's structurally sound, right? When you're in this position and you're just being whole into yourself, paying attention to yourself, anchored in your breath, you're in the whole of your real integrity. And what's amazing, as soon as you start doing that and putting the attention on yourself as you are, not some idea of how you should be, all of a sudden, children and small animals start coming and sitting next to you and purring. And this is not just me, this is anyone that's had a practice. I actually encourage people that have small children who say, I cannot practice because the kids are running wild. I'm like, practice, but stay with your breath. Stay there. They come, they run around, they jump, they scream. You will notice within a few moments, usually, and especially if, after you practice for a while, the kids sit with you. They might get a book, right? They might just play with the cat or whatever, but they will get quiet and sit with you, just like my animals. Because when you tap into that integrity of your own, you give it the space to everyone else to do the same, right? And that's wonderful. It wasn't bad. I was able to keep my body still for the 5 minutes and my mind for most of it, although I did wander a bit. Yeah, you and me both. Absolutely. Absolutely. Happens. I've been doing this 22 years. The mind never stops wandering. All right. So I'm going to get a little bit more into the teaching again.